how many thousand have raw talent that can, you've seen it before, the 3 guys that have vent rods and everybody else does. Some of these guys are just, they just know how to fly line a bait. So I say, yeah, take advantage of it and only use it in tough fishing situations, otherwise you'll go broke. You gotta buy the most expensive stuff you can buy. Don't buy the cheap stuff, it's not worth it.
Is it important to match the reel with the rod or not? Is it that important?
Well, I have a couple different theories that when I'm fishing on the land, I want to put all my money into the rod and not a lot of money into the reel because it's going to end up on the ground. And it's going to get dirt in it. And a $39 reel and a $79 reel, you close your eyes again, you can't tell the difference. You feel them, you wouldn't be able to tell me which is which. Now, on a boat, we could go to a garage sale and get a Saber Stroker 7-foot 30-pound rod. But boy, I really want you to have an Abbott little 2-speed with smooth drags because that's what's going to boat your fish. So you have a $199 reel and a $15 fishing rod, that's okay. So complete opposite on the boat. Spend your money on the reels, not the rods. I mean, tight budget, it's the only way to do it. You get it? So, all your money for the reels, less money on the rods. That's like budget-wise, that's how I work with my customers, you know? And if you're going shore fishing, you want a $110 rod, that's great. There's no reason to spend $100 on a reel, you're gonna destroy it the first 6 months. Just go destroy a $39 reel and we'll buy another one. So, I don't know how we got on all that, but somebody asked a question. I'm ready to go, if you guys wanna ask some more?
Nomads.
Tell me again.
Nomad lures, trolling lures.
Don't know about them.
You don't know about them, okay.
Couldn't tell you if they're for marlin, tuna, what they are.
Okay.
I'd love to see one and give you my take on it, but no, I don't know. No. How about any trips or anybody's doing anything soon that has a question about, like, this is my first trip that I've gone on that's a 4-day, and I'm just a bit dazed and confused about what to pack. You know, those types of things. I mean, long range fishing, overnight fishing, all that stuff, I can help you with all that.
I got a first trip for you.
Okay?
Okay, Sitka, the 20th of August.
Okay.
It's a 7-day trip, but 4 days of fishing.
Awesome.
On those 6-pack boats.
Excellent.
And I think they, you know, I'm not sure, I guess we'll fish halibut and salmon.
Yeah, most
What should I
trips.
expect? I mean,
Most trips up there will fish halibut, lingcod, and salmon in the same spot. They're downriggers and this and that. It's almost like back trolling. They put the anchor down, and you almost like had a choice to fish a jig for the salmon,
Oh.
send the bait down for the lingcod, and for the halibut. So it's that style of fishing.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not,
What's the jig? You're just yo-yoing?
you know, I'm watching these knife jigs and stuff like that. It's been probably 3 years since I've been there.
Okay.
You know, but a trip like that, I've done a lot of fishing up there, and there'll probably be other people with you. And let's get
Yeah.
back to the packing a little bit. I like to pack as if I'm gonna fall in the water, basically. Okay, so I got all my clothes I need to go. I'm gonna strip off layers, but in my backpack or whatever, I got a warm pair of pants and some socks and a t-shirt and something that, as if I fall in the water, I could put on. So, I mean, keeping that in your brain, just, you know, for yourself and safety, anything else you can bring with you, it's super, super important. I wrote a pledge about, you know, safe boating, and it's on the fishing app code group. And it was sort of like this cell phone, no texting thing, but it was willing to sign that, you know, when you go out buddy boating, that, you know, you're creating a channel that you can talk to the other boat you're out with. What somebody in your family needs to know which direction you're going, and even if that's no good, you may be going this direction. Because even if we lose the 2 of you out there, it's 30 people at home it's affecting. You know, and by you being careless, not telling anybody you're heading out on your skiff, and going out there and the wind came up and the thing turns over, you know, there's some safety precautions that you pay attention to. And anything that, you know, that you feel will make yourself feel safer on these trips, bring it. Bring it. You know, whatever may be in your mind. And there's no liquor stores out there for sunflower seeds or anything else. You're on these multi-day trips, you better bring what you need.
Bring your snacks.
So, including up there.
Yeah.
You know, your favorite potato chips you may not get up there, so that does happen.
On the Red Rooster for a 6-day trip, what would you take? Red Rooster 3.
I would take a rod that's dedicated for nothing but catching bait. You may or may not use it. You may or may not drop the anchor if you're a guy that likes to stay up all night and fiddle around with a small rod, otherwise it wouldn't bother. I'd make sure that you have at least 2 rods locked and loaded for 25 and 30 pound, somewhere in there, that you could, heavier leader or a little lighter leader, whatever, and a couple 40s. You know, I think your 30, 40, and 50 is real important. You know, you may get one shot in those 4 days to put some 100-pound over the side and get a bite. But the captain's got enough time to warn you, and you were smart enough to take your trolling feather off and put a 6/0 hook on, so you could go to your trolling rod and go get it. And you're kicking yourself, and you're like, why didn't I take my trolling feather off and put a hook on? Immediately when I'm done trolling, I take my feather off, I put a 5/0 Mustad 94 150 round Mustad hook on there, and it's just sitting 60 or 80 pound waiting for that captain to say, here's the big ones, let them go. And guess who gets a bite, because my big rod's ready to go. First thing you do is take your feather off, put a hook on. So those things, when it comes charging into the boat, you get your hook up, right? So that's key. Key. And troll. Don't not troll. Don't not give your spot out. Male will be the only fish you take on. Troll. Even if it's cold, put your hour in. You know what I mean? You could, your feather may get the bite that turns the whole bonanza into the whole boat getting day. So, anybody else? Somebody's got something.
Do you prefer your Wahoo jigs wired or unwired?
The way I fish Wahoo, I don't wire them too much. And when I'm using the wire, I use a wire that I can tie a perfection loop with. I don't crimp wire. And Burns Saltwater Outfitters makes, actually you can do it even with a 49 strand, but Burns Saltwater Outfitters makes a wire that you can actually tie a perfection loop with. And I use their 80 pound. And it's real quick, not having to, cut it, get the crimpers out, start over because it's a little beat up. I guess where I can go with that is, what I do is if this is my jig, right? Let's pretend this is a bomb instead, Wahoo bomb, okay? A Wahoo bomb is a hunk of metal head, and then it's got this fancy glitter back here, and it's got a hook in it, maybe a spinner or a bell or some flashing light with a battery or something, right? Okay, well, I'm a big fan of like an old school Salas 6X Junior heavy yo-yo iron in chrome. It's about this long, it's heavy, and it's chrome. Simple gets. Even, go to the local fishing swap meet, you'll find them. It needs to have what's called a J-hook, okay? And it needs to have a big, what's called a sidewash hook, the Wahoo hook, you've seen them before, like a 7/0 behind the jig. So now here's my chrome jig, here's my 7/0, okay? I have to lay my jig down to do this, but if my hook's here, I get my mylar, which is the shiny stuff. Then I look for the rubber tubing, like fish tank tubing that air goes through, but you can find it in pink and green and yellow, real bright. I cut little pieces. So what I do is, if this is the shank of the hook, okay, let's do this. Maybe I can get a little more creative. Okay, so here's my hook, right? And my jig's up here, my chrome jig. So that's what's attracting the fish, and the hook's back here. I use black electrical tape. I lay my mylar down or my rubber down, and I take one loop and pull tight, one loop, pull tight, and I wrap it around my hook. And then my rubber and my mylar is hanging off the end of my hook. So what's the Wahoo gonna do? This is my weight for sinking. Do not try and throw it out there 100 yards. Just pitch it and send it down. These fish, the Wahoo, they only swim fast when it's time to eat. These things, they lay like logs in the water. I mean, you jump in the water out on the bank and play around anywhere, they're just laying there like logs. You don't even meter them. The deck can, jump in the water and go for a swim, and he's like, oh, there's 20 of them around. And everybody casts and you get a bite. So there's no reason to be launching it out there. You just send it down. Okay? And these are from old school gray-haired guys I learned from when I was a kid. So with the mylar and the rubber coming off and your chrome jig here, what's the Wahoo going to attack? The hook and the mylar. Right? And the rubber. My jig's here, and once you just start winding into it, now you've got them. So why do I need wire here if I'm making them go here? And 80% of the time I'm getting them here with no wire, and I'm getting more bites than the next guy. So black electrical tape on the shank of the hook, mylar, a little bit of that rubber, you're golden. Okay? You guys understand that? Try to explain that best I could for some Wahoo stuff.
Like it looks like an old bonita feather.
Basically,
They were
but with a chrome
Yeah.
jig up front. It could be a CP 105, something old, it can be new, just that size and chrome and heavy. So, and another thing about, fishing wahoo is, 'cause I know a few of you guys are long rangers. These wahoo, everybody's like, oh, 8-foot rod, this is my wahoo rod, blah, blah, blah.